This is part 4, and today we're taking things to the next level. You will learn how to add and update images in your projects, build a powerful search tool, and create a staff module with full CRUD functionality, all in Python and KivyMD. By the end, your app will be smarter, sharper, and more dynamic than ever. Let's dive in. So in this video, we're going to create this custom profile picture here widget, right? So if you click on it, you can enlarge the profile picture and view it in great detail, right? Then if you go to our projects module, in the previous video, we had managed to make our module update, add and delete projects, right? So in this video, we're going to add these images and we can be able to click on it and view them in greater detail. And we're going to create this search box where if you want to search something inside our database, search for a project, you can search for it with ease, right? And we're going to work on our staff module. So with our staff module, you can search, you can add, update, and delete, and you can have these images of our staff members. So if you click on them like this, you can view them in greater detail. So get your text editors ready and let's code. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to run the system and we're going to see where we left off. Okay, so I might need to comment out the splash screen and the login screen so that we can just go to the home screen straight away. Okay, let's select one user here and the password is pass12345. Right. So in the previous video, we had created a project, right? So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna work on this search bar, right? And we're gonna make sure that we can search using the name, description, start date, end date, and status here. And after that, we're gonna add some images so that we can have an image for the project. The same with stuff, and we're gonna do the same with the tasks that we're gonna assign to each project, right? So let's minimize this and work on our search bar, right? So when I navigate to views, then we're gonna open projects, then projects.kv like this. So right here, right? So here we have a custom box layout and our float layout, our magnify icon, right? So let's create some space here. Okay. So first things first, we're gonna get rid of this box layout and we're gonna replace it with a text field. So this is a mildly customized text input widget, like Kivy text input widget, right? So this text field, we're gonna give it an ID, and ID is going to be, let's just give it an ID of search, right? And let's give it some int text. Let's just set it to search dot like this. Let's say multi-line false like this. um since this is a Kivy widget, right? We're not gonna use font style, so we're just gonna set some font size and a font name. So let's set the font size. So font size, we're gonna set it to 11 scalable pixels. Then let's give this a font name. So the font name we're gonna use here is app dot body like this. Then we're gonna say on text. So this is what's gonna happen. Let's say on each letter we put inside our text field, right? It's gonna call a function. So we're just gonna call the function. Let's just call it search. So let's put parentheses. So this font here, this app.body, right? If we navigate to our app folder and open init.py, we should see these fonts here, right? So the body font is Open Sans regular. Then if you're gonna need bold, we're gonna use this Open Sans bold, semi bold, like this, right? So let's minimize, let's close this. So now that we've done setting up our text field, right, we need to navigate to projects.py. So let's open this one, scroll downwards. Our function search, right? So let me just copy this. Then right above our show projects in DB function, we're gonna paste our search function, and it's gonna take in self. Then after this, right, I'm just gonna copy everything inside our show projects in DB function. Then paste it here, right? Then after doing this, excuse me, I'm gonna create a variable on top here, and I'm gonna call it search term like this, and it's gonna take in self.ids.search.text like this. Or what we can do, right? We can say text here, right? Then we're gonna pass in this like this, right? Then after doing this, right, we're gonna say search term. So let's put an F string here like this. Then we're just gonna make sure that we make sure the text inside here is going to be lower, right? So what we need to do inside this open quotes, we need to put 2% signs, right? And in between those 2% signs, we need to put two curly braces like this. Then we're gonna say text dot lower like this. Let's put parentheses so that the search term we're gonna be using to search our database, everything is going to be in lower letters, right? Minor letters, right? So whenever we put a capital letter, so to make the searching algorithm work a little bit better, we're just gonna make all the texts lower. That's why we're saying text dot lower here. Okay, so now let's proceed. So since here we have select all from projects, right? Where user ID is equals to this. So right here we need to put our and. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna say and. Let's put parentheses here. Then inside these parentheses, I'm just gonna press enter. So I'm gonna put the triple quotes here. Let me add two quotes here like this, and I'm gonna put let's see. Let's get rid of this one here. What's happening here? Okay, so let me make sure. Let me just do this here. Make everything look a lot better. Okay. So here we're just gonna say lower, then put parentheses. So inside the let's open create.py, right? Then just gonna say split right. We need the project. So we're gonna need name, description. So here we're gonna say name, right? Then I will exit parentheses here. Then we're gonna say like. Then we're gonna say percentage sign or like this, right? So I'm just gonna copy this. Then let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm gonna paste it 4 more times. Let me get rid of the last or like this, right? So we have name, then we're gonna have description. Let's put in start date, end date, and lastly we're gonna put status here like this. Then after doing this, right? So we need to edit our values also. So here what we need to do is I'm just gonna do it like this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we're gonna paste this. Let me put a comma here. Let me control D this, control C it, then paste it here and put a comma. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we don't need the last one here. Control S. Let's run it and see if this works. Why is this thing taking too long to load? Oh, minimize it. Let's navigate to our app folder, right? And you need the py. So let's comment these two here. These three here. Let's just comment them out. Let's rerun it. Okay. Projects. So let's see if this is working. So let's put a not all parameters were used in the SQL statement. Okay, let's minimize it. Projects.py. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, then here we'll see. Okay. So what we need to do here is we need to add lowercase s in front of our percentage signs here. So let's run it again. Open projects. Okay. Seems as if everything is working. So let's try W website. Okay, let's put a Z. So our search box is working, right? So what we need to do is we need to add an image here at the start here, right? So let's minimize this. So to do that, right, we are definitely going to need to edit our database, right? So let me, okay, so I have it open here. So here I have XAMPP running, right? So I'm just gonna press my PHP admin, PHP my admin. Okay, so the database we were using is project management. Okay, so we're gonna need to add an image inside projects, inside tasks, stuff, mm, uses maybe later, right? So for now, let's just put inside these three here. Okay, so let me click on projects, then structure. So I'm just gonna call it IMG, right? Then the type, let me put media blog. Save it. I'm gonna press on stuff and do the same. Lastly, our tasks, structure, add one column after status, go, call it img, make it long blob, medium blob, then save it, right? So now let's minimize this and let's scroll downwards. So inside our show projects in DB right now, what we need to do before we do this, right? Let's open projects.kv here, right? Then okay, let me get rid of this here first. We're gonna need let's navigate to our widgets folder. We're gonna need tables.py, right? With projects.py right here, right? So our height is 70 display pixels, right? So right here, let's create a box layout. And let's give it a size int x of none and the width of 70 display pixels, like this. And now we're gonna do the same inside projects.kv. So I'm just gonna copy this here, then paste it here. So let's type it inside like this, right? So we have it inside here, and now we have it inside here, right? For now, let's just run it and see how this looks. Okay, looking okay. So what we need to do, right? We can just add an image here, right? And it's going to be fine. But we can create our own custom image widget, right? Where if we press the image, we can enlarge it. So to do that, let's minimize this and navigate to our widgets folder. And inside the widgets folder, we need to create a file, and we're just gonna call it I'm just gonna call it images.py, like this, right? Then let me take models.py, Control A, Control C, go back to images.py, and I'm gonna paste it inside here, right? Then I'm gonna get rid of everything else. All these classes, I'm gonna get rid of them. And I'm gonna do the same, hold shift, get rid of these two. So underneath our builder.load string right now, we need to create a class. And we're gonna call this class custom image. And put parentheses. And inside this custom image, you need to put a button. You need to put button behavior. Right. So let's see here. Excuse me. We're not gonna need these two here. We're not gonna need these ones and these ones and these ones. Right. Okay, let's proceed for now. So now we've imported our button behavior, right? We're gonna need a box layout also. Then inside of custom image, right? We need a source, like the source of our image, right? So this is going to be a string variable, a string property, like this. Then we're gonna create we're gonna call it enlarged image, another class, right? So this is what we're gonna see. Let's say if we create our custom image, right, and we click on it, we're gonna be able to enlarge our image inside that enlarged image widget, which is gonna create in a second, right? So let's just put the function that's gonna do that. So inside here, we're just gonna say define, let's call it enlarge image, enlarge underscore image, put parentheses, and it's gonna take in self. Then create a variable, just gonna call it enlarge underscore image, and this variable is gonna store it's gonna store our class, right? So let's just call it enlarged image, then we put parentheses here. Then here we're just gonna say enlarged image, so we're gonna need the source. So you're gonna say source is equal to, so we're gonna say it's equal to this source here, right? So you're gonna say self dot so view our enlarged image, right? So you're gonna say enlarged image dot open, like this. So let's create this enlarged image class real quick. Class, let me just Control D and paste it here. And this one is going to take in a mode of here. Then it's only going to need a source, right? And source is going to be a string property, like this, right? And while we are at this, right, we can do this and do that to our images, like to our profile pictures, right? Because if you look at the system, let's just run it real quick so I can explain this. So what I'm thinking of doing is adding a profile picture here of whichever user is logged in inside our system, right? So we're just gonna put it here, and we're just gonna make it like our custom image, so that if we click on it, we can enlarge the image, right? So let's minimize this. Let's put some separation here. Let's put a line of hashtags like this. Then I'm gonna copy this, then paste it on top here, and I'm gonna call this custom profile picture, like this. Everything else is gonna remain the same, right? So now let's deal with the KV code here. So the first class we have is a custom profile picture, right? So let me Control D, Control C this, and Control V inside here, right? So since we made this button, right, after we imported after we inherited button behavior, right? So here we're gonna add an on press function, right? So we need to call this enlarge image. So we'll Control D, Control C, and inside you're gonna say root dot paste it, then add parentheses here, like this. And let's give this a padding of 1 display pixel. Then let's give this a background. So here we're gonna say canvas dot before, then color RGBA. Then we're gonna say RGBA parentheses. Then inside here, let's put a quotes, right? Hashtag. So where do we have this color? Okay, inside the widgets folder, let's open the buttons.py file. Okay, I think it's this color. So let me Control D, Control C it, navigate back to images.py, then I'll paste it here. Then down here you need to say rounded rectangle. and we're gonna say size is equal to self.size, then pause self.pause. Then it says this is going to be a profile picture. Let's make this round, right? So we need to say radius, and we're gonna set the radius to self.height. Self.width is going to be okay. It's gonna work also, right? So inside this main one, right? Let's just gonna copy this here. Down here, I'm gonna create a box layout like this, then paste. Need to get rid of this. Select this, tap it inside once, like this. Then we need to make this color white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's fine. So now we need to add a source here, right? So source, so this is going to be an image. We're just gonna say root dot let's just say root dot source, right? Like this. Okay, this is fine. So I'm gonna copy this. Okay, let's put a line of hashtags here. Then paste this, right? So this is going to be custom image. Okay. Let's up our padding to 5 display pixels. Then let's get rid of this background color. Then with this one, right, we need to get rid of this self.height, right? And let's put dp parentheses, then inside parentheses let's put 5, right? So it's more like 5 display pixels. Okay, so I believe our custom image is looking okay. So let's navigate to tables.py, right? Replace this box layout here. I like this. Then down here I'm gonna say source. It's going to be root dot source. So I'm gonna copy this widget, then paste it here like this. Okay, so for our stuff, right? The height is set to 50 display pixels. Let's up it to 70 like this. Okay, so now we need to add this source variable inside our projects tab and our stuff tab here. So underneath our ID here, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna select this, then do this one time, right? Okay, what am I doing now? Okay, fine. Source is equal to string property. So let's add parentheses here like this. Okay, this is fine. So let's navigate back to images.py. So now we need what's the last one? Enlarged image. Control D, Control C. So let's press this inside here, right? So what we need to do here is inside this enlarged image class, right? So it's a mode of view. So what we need to do is say background and gonna set it to nothing. Excuse me. Then we're gonna say background color. So when I set this to, let's say 0,0,0,0.7, right? So it's like very dark transparent black. I don't know if that made sense, but anyways, let's proceed. So inside this model view, right, this enlarged image model view, need to put an anchor layout, right? And we need to anchor everything to the center. So anchor underscore y, we're gonna set it to center. So let me duplicate this line, then change the last one to anchor y, like this, right? So we might not actually need this anchor. Like if we don't need it, we're gonna get rid of it. But if we need it, we're just gonna keep it in there, right? So inside this anchor layout, we need to put a box layout. So this box layout, and let's give it an orientation of vertical. And we're gonna give it some padding of 20 display pixels. Then the spacing is going to be 20 display pixels also. Okay, that's much better. So inside this box layout, we need to add a box layout, right? So we're gonna give this box layout a size int underscore y of none, and a height of let's say 50 display pixels, like this. Then let's put an empty box layout in here, right? And then underneath that box layout, we need to add a float layout, like this. And we're gonna say size underscore it underscore x. We're gonna set it to none, and the width is going to be, let's say, self dot height. So it's going to be 50 display pixels. Then inside this float layout, we need to add an MD icon button. So we're gonna be using this MD icon button to close our model view, right? So this is going to need an icon. So our icon is going to be close. So it's just going to be an X. Then I'm gonna say theme underscore text underscore color. This is going to be custom. Then text underscore color. Let's set it to hashtag ID8A8C, right? Then let's give this a position 8, right? So pause int. Then he said curly braces. We need to say center Y. Let's start with center X. This is going to be 0.5. Then let's give it a center Y. Center underscore Y. It's going to be 0.5 also. So this puts the MD icon at the center of our float layout, right? Then I will need to say on press. So this is what's gonna happen on press on our MD icon button, right? We're just gonna say root dot dismiss. So this is a built-in function inside our model, right? Inside the model widget, right? So now that we've added the button to close our model view, right? So underneath the box layout, we give 50 display pixels or as our height, right? We need to add a box layout. So we're just gonna say box layout. We're not gonna do anything to it. Then inside of it, let's add an image. So you can just add an image directly, but I just prefer this way. So do whichever way you see as best, right? So here we're gonna say source. Then our source is going to be root dot source like this, right? So now we should be able to view our images, and if we click on it, we can enlarge it, right? So what we need to do is we need to import our widgets from our okay. Um we need init.py, right? Scroll upwards. Dun, 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 right. So I'm gonna copy this and duplicate it 3 times, right? So this is going to be so this is coming from images, right? Okay. And let's take this one. Okay. Right. Um let's try running it. If everything is okay, we're not gonna get any errors. Although we don't have any images displayed. Um there is an error. Okay. This wasn't closed. Okay. Let's run it again. Okay. Okay, so our custom image is working just fine, right? So now let's make sure that we can get images and store them from our database. Or fetch them from our database and display them. Then we need projects.py. So let's get rid of this images.py file. Buttons. We might need this one, but not yet. But let's just leave it there. Let's get let's leave this one here. Let's open projects.py. So now let's deal with our images, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our blob data from our database, right? Then we're gonna see if the name associated to that data uh is uh is available inside our assets folder, right? Since our assets folder also contains images. So if there's an image with the same name as the name inside our database, right? We're gonna take it, then we're gonna compare its blob data as well. If it's the same, we're not gonna write the image. But if it's different, we're gonna write the new image, the image that's stored in our database in case we updated the information inside our database, right? After doing that, we can be able to display the image. So if we update it, it's going to be the new image. If we didn't update the image, it's going to be the old image. So that's what we're gonna be doing now with our images, right? So I hope that made sense. If it didn't, just follow along. It's gonna make sense in a minute, right? So let's proceed. So right here, we need to say we called our image img inside the database. So we're just gonna do the same. So here we're gonna say img is going to be so all our imgs, right? We put them at the end. So this one here ends at index 6. So img is going to be at x and index 7, like this, right? Then output path. output underscore path is going to be path parentheses. Then inside the parentheses, we're going to say assets / images, right? So let's import this path. So it's going to be from pathlib here, right? So it's going to look like this. From pathlib import path, right? So let's proceed. So what we need to do is, in case these two variables, these two directories don't exist, right? So you would need to say output path, right? Dot make dir like this. Then inside our parentheses, we need to say parents is equal to comma and exist okay is going to be true, right? Okay. So now let's proceed with the other stuff, right? So with our images, right? You can let's say the project has gaps, like the name has gaps in it, right? But we need a safe name, right? So that we don't get any errors or whatever, right? So what we need to do is we need to get rid of spaces in inside our file names, right? So I'm just gonna create a variable called safe name, right? So if you have a better name to put, use that one. But inside here, I'm just gonna say safe underscore name is equal to. So if you look at the information here, name is at index 2, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say x at index 2 like this dot replace. So what are we replacing? Let's put quotes here and some space, right? And what are we gonna replace it with? So we're just gonna replace it with an underscore like this, right? Then exit this parenthesis here. So what we need to do is we need to concatenate. And what are we concatenating with? Another underscore, right? Then we're gonna concatenate. And what are we concatenating this time? This is going to be a string. And what's the stuff? X at index 0, right? So this is going to be like the ID of our project. So here we're working on project, so this is going to be an ID of our project, right? So it's going to be a string of X at index 0, right? Like this. So now what do you need to do here? I'm gonna say file name, right? So what's the file name? Our file name is going to be, let's put an F string here, right? Curly braces. So here we're gonna say safe name, right? Then dot png. So this is going to be our file name, right? Then we need to give this a file path. File underscore path is going to be, let's say, output path / file name, like this. Right, okay. This looks okay. If you get any errors, we're gonna see them later, then we're gonna fix them, right? So let's say we have information right inside our img. We're gonna say if img, so that let's say we don't have anything, we're not gonna do anything. So we're gonna say if there is something inside the img, right? Let's create a variable and set it to true. So let's just call it right image and set it to true like this. Then let's put a new statement. Then we're gonna say if file path dot exists, right? So we're gonna check if the file path, like the file, right, if it exists, right? If it exists, we're gonna say with open. So what are we gonna open? We're gonna say file path like this, right? Then we're gonna say comma compose b as excuse me existing file like this, right? Then excuse me, then we're gonna say existing data, right? Existing underscore data is equal to existing file dot read like this, right? So we're just gonna say existing data is going to be like the data that we're gonna read from the file that we opened, right? If the file path exists. So after doing this, we need an if statement. I'm gonna say if existing data is equal to img, right? So when I say if the file path, if we find the file path inside our images directory or inside our assets directory, right? If it's the same as the data inside our img, right? I'm gonna set this right image variable, right? I'm gonna set it to false, right? So that because we're gonna put an if statement that if it's true, we're gonna write the image to our folder, right? But if it's false, we're not gonna do anything. So you're gonna say is if existing data is equal to the image, right? We're not gonna do anything since we already have the image inside our directory, right? So here we're gonna say right image is equal to false, right? So now let's create a new statement underneath this one here, right? So that if the right image variable is true, right? So when I say if right image this if right image is equal to true, when I say width open, so we're gonna open our file path like this, comma. Then I'm gonna say wp write byte as let's say as g, right? Then I wanna say g dot write. So what are we writing? img, right? Like this, right? Okay. I believe projects.py file should be fine now, right? So now we need to be able to add our image, right? Still got a long way to go. Okay. So let me select this, then Control D, right? Press enter. Here we're gonna say img. So we don't have this. We're gonna create a custom file chooser, right? So we don't have it yet. We're just gonna create it in a minute. So for now, just follow along. So you're gonna say instance dot ideas dot then gonna give the custom file chooser an ID of image, right? Then I say dot ideas dot text underscore input dot text like this. So we should have do this the same time we're doing this one. Okay, fine, this is fine. So let's work on adding first, right? So right here we need to say comma img, right? Then here this needs to be img. So this needs to be at index 5 right here, comma img. Then paste this here. Then what we need to do is we're gonna make sure that our custom widget, right, the custom file chooser, we're not gonna make it compulsory that you have to select an image, right? Excuse me. It's not going to be compulsory, right? So we're gonna say if the image variable, right? So if this here returns select image, we're gonna have a stock image that we're gonna use, right? But if we select a certain image, we're gonna be able to add that certain image. So to do that here, right, just above our connection variable here, what we need to do is put an if statement. So we're gonna say if img is equal to put quotes select image dot, right? If it's set to this, right, we need to say with open. So I think we should call this blank image, right? So here let's just say assets forward slash images forward slash blank underscore projects dot png. Okay, dot png is fine, right? Let's put a comma here. Then here we're gonna say write b as file, right? Then here let's just say binary data, binary underscore data is equal to file dot read, right? So once we've read this, right, and we've assigned it to our binary data, now we need to paste this here, right, so that we can able to send the binary data to our database, right? But if we have an image that we've selected, right, we need to get the binary data of that image also. So what we need to do right here is add an else, right? Then here we need to say with, let me just copy this thing, right? It's going to be the same statement here with the minor tweaks, right? So now we need to replace this blank projects image with img, right? So what this if statement is doing is it's saying if we didn't select an image when we were adding a project, right? This img here is going to return select what do you call it, select image dot, right? So if image is set to this, right, we're gonna have a blend projects png picture, right, that we want to be using to add to our database. But if we selected an image, we're gonna use that image and send it to the database, right? Okay. Let's look at updating here. So we need to send this here also. Then down here, let's duplicate this. Change this to img, and this needs to be at index 6, like this. So let me scroll up and copy this if statement here. Then I'm gonna paste it here, right? So what we're gonna do is if we don't select an image when updating, right? Let me take this, then replace this with it like this, right? So when I say if we don't select an image when updating, right, we're just gonna update everything else except for the image, right? So this statement is just gonna remain the same like this. Then we're gonna say else, right? Else we select the image, right? We selected an image, right, that we're going to update. So we need to read that image like this, then get the binary data here, right? So let's select this here and tab it inside once. Then right here, let's copy this. Then change the last port to img. Then ECN needs to be binary data like this, right? So let me scroll up. Update. Okay, this is let's see, this is binary data. Okay, so now we need to work on selecting our image here so that we can check if adding an image and updating it is working just fine, right? So to do that, we're gonna need models.py. Where do we have head projects? Okay, so we're gonna need this one, and I think we should put it inside buttons.py, our custom file chooser, right? Need to put it inside buttons.py. Okay, so here let's just say custom file chooser like this. Let's give it an ID. Let's give it an ID of image, right? So now let's go and create this custom file chooser. Let's put it inside buttons. Let's scroll downwards. Then let's put it here. Okay, so just gonna name it from a button behavior and box layout like this, right? So inside here, we need to put an init function. So do we have it up here so we can just copy it? We don't. Anyways, so here we're gonna say define underscore underscore init self, then store keyword arguments like this, right? Then we're gonna like this, right? So now we need to call in an MD file manager, right? So here we need to say self dot. So whenever we press this button, right, we need to initiate this self dot file manager. So let's just say self dot file manager underscore object, right? And this is going to inherit from MD file manager here, right? So let's put parentheses and press enter. So let's say background underscore color underscore toolbar. Let's set it to purple, right? I'm just going to duplicate this. Then this is going to be background color selection button. Like this. Let's set it to purple also. Now we need to say select underscore path. It's going to be self dot select underscore image underscore file underscore path, right? And now, excuse me, but I need an exit manager. So this is going to be self dot exit underscore file underscore manager, right? And now we need to set our preview to true like this, right? So now let's work on our select path, right? So select this, Control D, Control C. So select image file path, right? It's gonna take in self and it's gonna take in path, right? So we need to say self dot let's look at our projects.py, right? Scroll up. Where do we have this? Okay, it's here, right? So inside the mode of .py, right, we call this ID image. So that's this image here, right? So since this is a custom widget, we're gonna have more widgets inside this image ID, right? So we need to say ids.text input. So we call the other one text input. So let me select this, Control D, Control C, right? And I'm gonna paste it here, right? Okay. So we're gonna pass on the path to our image, right? To this text input widget that we're gonna create when we're dealing with the KV part of this custom file chooser. Right? So after doing this, we need to call in our exit manager. So we're gonna say self dot paste this, put parentheses, then self like this. So now let's work on our exit file manager, right? So it's gonna take in self and let's put args here, right? Or let's put star args. Then now what we need to do is just say self dot file manager object dot close, right? So now we need to create a function that opens the file chooser, right? So here they just say define open file chooser. I take in self. Then let me just copy this line here. Then we need to change this to show, right? So inside there, I'm just gonna put quotes, and inside that quotes, I'm gonna put a forward slash like this. Excuse me. Oh, right. So now what we need to do is let me control D, copy this custom file chooser, right? Scroll upwards. Then right here, then paste it inside here. Right? Okay, so we can copy this time picker here. Then let's paste it here. This right here, right? This should be text input, if I'm not mistaken. Text underscore input. This here should be, let's navigate to projects to apply. This should be select image. Like this. Let's see. This text here, let's say image, right? Add some space. Then we should indicate to the user that this is optional. Okay. This icon here, we need to change it. So let's put attachment here. Like this. And this needs to be open file underscore chooser, like this, right? Excuse me. So let's try running this and see if we made any errors. We made any mistakes. Okay, open project. Click on this. Select image. Why am I not seeing images in this folder? Okay, let me close this, minimize this. Okay, so we need to scroll down, right? So right here, I'm just gonna say ext, right? And let's put a list, let's put a comma here so we don't get any errors. So inside here, I'm going to say dot jpg, right? Comma, open quotes, dot jpeg, comma, dot png. This should be a comma, like this. So let's try running it again. I'm not seeing any images in here. So I'm just gonna pause this video and download some more images from pexels.com, right? Then we can proceed, right? Okay. So I didn't download new stuff, but what I did is I just created a function that took the JPG files and converted them to PNG, right? So let me try getting rid of this and run the system again. So let's see if we can see our images now. Okay, we can see our images. Let's try using this image. Got a packet bigger than max allowed packet. Okay. Now I have to go and edit XAMPP my ini file. Ugh, that's boring. Okay, so let me pause this again. Okay, so let's run it again, right? So I've played with my ini file, right? And I've reduced the dimensions of the images, right? So I hope we shouldn't get any problems from now on. Okay, I think we updated. I don't see anything here, right? So let's try adding a project. So let's select an image. Okay, let's select this one. So the project name is going to be testing, right? Description, we're just gonna say test 1, 2, 3. And the start date, so let's select today's date, the 12th of August. And the end date, let's say the 17th of August, right? Project status, uh, in progress, right? So let's add that. So here we've added our projects, but we don't see the image here, right? Okay, let's try selecting this screen and coming back to you. We're not seeing anything here, right? So let's minimize it, try and see what's happening here. So let's navigate to projects.py. Then we need to scroll up, right? So right here, we need to um, give the, what you call it, project step source variable, right? So we need to give it the source of our images right here. Okay, so let me reduce the size of this. Right. So I'm just gonna copy these here. Right. Then I mean this I'm gonna do this here on top here, right? So here we're gonna say let's say name underscore, right? We're gonna say it's equal to X name like this, right? Then underneath that we're gonna say name, but name without an underscore. We're gonna say is equal to name with an underscore dot place, right? So let's go up. Just gonna copy this here and paste it like this, right? Then here we need to get rid of this zero, then put quotes, then put ID here, right? Like this. So let's try running it again. We need to add it also, right? So here, right, I'm just gonna Control D, Control C, then Control V this, right? Then change this to source like this, right? Then get rid of this color here. Then let's put an asterisk here, right? So here we'll say assets / images / then curly braces and put our name variable here, right? Then here we should say .png, right? Yeah, it should say .png. So let's run it again and see if we're gonna see our images. Okay, let's open projects. Okay, so we have our images here, right? So let's click this here. Okay, so here we have our image enlarged, right? So let's close this. Same with here, right? So let's try updating this one. Okay, so our image here has been updated. So now I will need to work on stuff. Right? So this is gonna happen much faster because I'm just going to be copying most of the stuff we did inside our projects module here, right? So let's minimize this. Inside our views folder here, we have stuff. Okay, we have stuff. So let's click here. So we're gonna need stuff.kv and stuff.py, right? So do we need init.py? So we have stuff already imported, right? So we're not gonna need init.py for now. So let's minimize it. Okay, are we going to need tables.py? Stuff tab is looking okay. So we're not gonna need the tables.py. But let's just leave it here for now. And what else? Right. So let's open projects.kv, right? And Control A, Control C, right? Then I'll paste everything here. Okay. Let's get rid of this here. This needs to be stuff like this. This is going to remain the same. This is going to be add stuff. We need to reduce this to 100 display pixels. Okay, so this when it creates .py, right? And let's open it and split right stuff. Right. So here we have name. So now we need email. So this needs to be email. Then we have password and raw. Put raw here. So we don't have to display the password here, right? So let's get rid of these two here, like this. And this needs to be stuff in DB list, like this. Right, so let's try running it. And let's open stuff. Okay, this is looking okay. So let's proceed. Let's minimize this. Right. Where do we have projects.py? So I'm going to copy everything from here. Okay, Control C, then open stuff.py and paste it here. So now let's import okay, it's import widgets. Yeah, okay, that's the one. From widgets.popups, import warning pop-up, right? So let's import connection. From data.connection, import connection. Let's import confirm pop-up. Okay, we need to change these. Let's import path from path lib import path. Let's import JSON, import clock. Let's import numeric property, the next property, like this, right? So I'm gonna Control D and select add project, right? And I'm gonna change this to add stuff. Then I'm gonna scroll back up. Then do the same for update project and change it to update stuff. And we're gonna do the same for delete project, and it's going to be delete stuff, right? Oh, this should be delete. But anyways, are you sure I want to delete this stuff member? Delete from the table stuff. This needs to be show stuff in DB. So let's scroll back downwards, right? Okay. So our delete functionality is done. So this is done. Let's scroll upwards and work on fetching our information, right? So this project's in DB, right? So we need to change it to stuff at DB, right? Scroll back up. Stuff in DB, this is fine. Get user ID, this is fine. Search. So let's just work on search real quick, right? Excuse me. Select stuff for user ID. So this one we can keep name, right? Then here let's put email. We don't need to search password, we just need draw, right? Then let's get rid of everything else. Like this. So now we have 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. We don't need these other two. Okay. So looking good. Then here we need ID name. So this is going to be email. This is going to be password. And this is going to be raw, right? So we're not going to need status here. So I'm going to copy this. Then I'm going to paste it here, right? So this img is going to be at index 6. Right here, we're not going to change anything. Then here's going to be select all from stuff where user ID. This is fine. Then this on stuff in DB. So we need to put this from Kivy.tools. Let me just check how it's imported. From Kivy.utils, import RGBA. Okay, fine. So here we need stuff tab. and let's import it. So here we've named, right, then description. We need to change this to email. And this needs to be password. And this needs to be raw. We're now gonna need status here, right? So let's try and run this. And let's open staff. Okay, so here we can see our staff members, right? So now let's proceed and work our on adding, updating, right? So we already fixed deleting, right? So let's try deleting. Frank, okay, fine. Oh, I see why. Well, let's minimize this. So here, right, we need to work on add staff model, right? Don't believe we have add staff model, but anyways, if we don't have it, we're just gonna create it real quick. We don't have it. Let's just call it staff model. We might have staff model. We don't. But anyways, let's open table to try and copy these here. Control D, place this. We're not gonna need BG column. Let me just edit this. Okay. We're not gonna need source here, so let's get rid of it. Okay. Update project, right? So let me control D this and select everything. The name update project. Then when I change this to add stuff like this, then add project needs to be changed to add stuff. So with update project, we did update stuff. Okay, fine. So let's just work on add stuff real quick. So we have name, email, password, role. Not gonna need status. So let's get rid of status here also. Control D. Okay. Name, email, password, raw, ing, right? Okay. Let's get rid of status here. Add. Are you sure you want to add this graph member like this? Okay. Let's get rid of status here. This is going to be index 4. Let's change this to add staff callback. We don't have blank projects, right? So here let's just use avatar. So we'll find an image which we can use for blank image, right? Then I'm just gonna leave it inside the template folder inside my GitHub repository, right? So if you wanted to, you just find it there, and all the code that we're doing and everything we're doing in this video is going to be available inside the GitHub repository, right? So let's proceed. Okay. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's get rid of this. Uh, I think this should be fine. So let's see. Let's get rid of status here. But we need to do more with the password, right? Password validate, form validation, like password length, if password is matching. But for now, let's just get done with all of this, right? Then we're gonna see if our password is at least 8 characters long and whatnot, right? So let's change this to. Are you sure you want to update this staff member, right? Then this needs to be update staff callback, like this. We need to get rid of this line here, and this need index 5, right? So if ing select image, right? When updating name, email, password, raw, to get rid of status. Okay, show stop. Okay. Now let's work on form validation. Some extra form validation for our password, right? So I'm just gonna select this, right? Then control D. So I'm gonna try and edit these two at the same time, right? Okay, should tear. So you're gonna say else if, right? Elif. So you're gonna say length of password, right? So if length of password is less than, let's say, 8 characters, right? We're gonna say instance dot ideas dot header dot text is equal to let's say password must be at least 8 characters long. Let's put an exclamation mark here, right? Um, we can do two password infos, right? Where we can check if the first one and the second one match, right? But we're not gonna do it in this one, so let's just put like the length of the password, right? Because logging in, we made sure that we require 8 characters for password, right? So here we're not gonna do the whole matching passwords and whatnot, right? So let's just leave it like this. Now, we're gonna need a model, right? So let's see up here. Okay, we're gonna need this. So here we have project model, add project model. So we don't have staff model. So I'm gonna copy this here, then paste it here. And this here is going to be staff model, right? So let's open tables.py, and we're gonna need this. Control C, open models.py, then I'll paste everything here. So we're not gonna need this bg color and the source. So we're gonna need a name, email, password, and role, right? So we have name. So we need to have on name on email. Then we're gonna need a password. So what we can do here is we cannot have an on password function, right? So whenever you edit a staff member, right, you're just gonna have to edit the password by default, right? That way someone doesn't click on the staff member and see their password. So I'm just gonna copy this and put it here. Then get rid of these other two on functions, right? Then we can leave password here like this. So let's make this one look like this one, right? Since we're gonna need this here. So let's paste it here like this, right? This needs to be update staff like this, right? So now let's work on adding on the KV part, right? On the KV code. So okay, let's get rid of create the pie. Then we're gonna need, let's look at models. Okay, so let me select this here. Then let's paste it at the bottom. Change this to staff model, right? Let's navigate to stuff.py. So we're not gonna need projects.py for now. So let's open stuff.py. Okay, so let's import this from widgets.models. Okay, so let's see if we can get a pop-up, right? So we haven't changed the stuff inside our stuff model, but we just want to see if we don't get any errors if we try to open it. Okay, this is looking okay. So now let's work on this part and change it to add stuff, and we're gonna do like make sure we can add our password and our role and whatnot, right? So I'm gonna close this, minimize this, navigate to models.py. Right? So let's scroll down. So the add model title, we need to change it to add stuff like this, right? So the first one, we can keep our custom file chooser, right? We can leave it like this. Here let's change project to staff member name like this. So here we're not gonna need a custom text field large, right? Let's navigate to our widgets folder and open text field, right? So here we have custom text field large, we have custom text field password, float, integer, and just custom text field, right? So if we look at staff.py, right, we have name, email, password, and role. So this one is going to be custom text field, password. So we can copy this one, we can duplicate it. This one is going to be email. This is it email outline or mail outline? So let's try email outline. This is going to be email, staff member, email address. We're not gonna need the description, date picker and time picker. So let's get rid of them. So we can have custom drop down, right? We can keep this one, then change this one to raw. This one here is going to be raw. Oh, we didn't put an icon here, so we need to put an icon here. Text, just gonna say still select staff members raw. Like this. The rows that we have, what kind of rows should we put here? Here, let's change this to project manager. The next one, let's say designer. This one, let's say developer. This one, change it to what? Let's say digital marketer, right? So if you have other roles you want to put in your own, you can just do it. If you want to get rid of these and put other ones, just do it. Still fine because it's your product. As long as you are doing what you're doing on your own PC, it's all good. You can do whatever you want with it, sell it, use it as reference or put it in your portfolio. It will still be fine, right? So now we have our role, right? Here, let me say cog outline, but cog outline is perfect for what you call it, perfect to resemble settings, right? But let's just use it here. If you have a better KivyMD icon to put here, you can just put it. So here, let's put cog outline like this. So now we need password, right? So here, let's say custom text field password. So I'm gonna copy all this stuff here and paste it here. So let's navigate to textfield.py and look at custom text field password. So it's gonna take in icon, label, hint tag. Okay. So this is going to be password icon. Let's say lock outline. This is going to be password staff member password, or we can say staff members password. Let's do the same for here. Staff members name. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's look at staff.py. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 2, 4, excluding the ID, right? So let's try running this and see if we can add we can add a staff member, delete a staff member, and update a staff member. Okay, let's open staff. So let's say add staff, select an image. Who can we add first? Let's add her staff member. Let's call her Lucy Doe, like this. Email address, let's say test at lucy.com. Our password, let's just add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Role, let's say she's a digital marketer. Now let's add, okay. Where do we have an adder? Oh, okay. So I'm going to control D this so that I can edit the other ones at the same time, right? So we need to remove this date and put text underscore input like this. We might need to do the same for this one, right? Let's try getting rid of this part here. So let's run it again. Okay, so we called the Lucy door the last part, the last try. Then we said Lucy at project.com. Our password, we said we're just gonna put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Raw digital marketer. So now let's add. Okay, seems to be working just fine. Here we have added Lucy door, right? And our image is showing quite okay. And if we click on the image, we can see the image enlarged, right? So let's close this and try updating here. Okay, so let's select an image. IMG, let's select this guy here, right? Staff member password, let's put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's update. Okay, we have updated this image. It's looking okay. Let's update Mark Johnson. Okay, password. Let's just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. So Sophia Lee, we put a profile picture of a guy, but anyways, it's fine. So we don't have a staff, select staff members role here. Ugh, I wonder why. Okay, let's minimize this and fix it real quick. Um, let's open projects.py. I want to check something real quick. Here. So for status, it's just status.ids.text, like, okay. Let's close it, open stuff. Let's open models.py. Scroll to the bottom. So we need to get rid of this text input part, right? And this ideas part and leave it like this. So let's run it again. Let's open stuff like this. So let's click this one. Okay, now this part is filled out, right? So let's close this and let's select this one. So Sophia Lee, let's just make the project manager. Password, let's change it to 1234567 8. So let's update. Okay. Mark Johnson. Let's set the password to 1234567 8. Select raw. Let's say it's the developer. Update. Right. Here with Emily Carter, right? So we're gonna try deleting here, but before we do that, I just thought of something real quick. Let's open stuff.py. So here we said this row is equal to this, right? So I'm just gonna select this and Control D so that we can fix these two at the same time. So inside these quotes here, let's navigate to models.py, right? So I'm gonna Control D this stuff model here, right? Then scroll down. I'm going to look for where we have our row, right? Then select this text here, copy it, navigate to stuff.py and paste it here like this. So that whenever we try to update, right, or add, right, and this page is not selected. So if our row is set to select staff members row, right, it's gonna throw an error so that we don't get to update or add a staff member and leave this part unselected, right? So let's run it again. Then we can check the delete functionality. So let's open our staff screen and try deleting this part, this first one, right? So I'm just gonna press delete. Are you sure we want to delete the staff member? Yes. Okay, so the delete function is working just fine, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna edit image here. So this is going to be the image Mark Johnson, like Mark Johnson's image profile picture. So let's minimize this and open home.py. So let's go to the create.py, stuff.kv, textfield.py, buttons.py, project.kv, right? And let's open home and open home.kv. So let's scroll downwards and look for our images. Not our images as such, but this works. Okay, so let's copy this one here and paste it on top here, right? Get rid of this ND icon button like this. So here is where we're gonna put our custom widget, our custom image widget, right? So let's navigate to, okay, minimize this, okay, and this. Navigate to images.py. So we have enlarged email. Let's scroll down at custom image, custom profile picture. So we're gonna need this widget. Control D, Control C, navigate to 1.kv and let's paste it here, right? So we're gonna give this a source. So our source is going to be root dot let's say avatar like this. So we need to type this inside once, right? And since this is inside the custom float layout, right, we need to give this a position hit. So pause hint. Let's put curly braces here. So inside this curly braces, the first one I'm gonna say center underscore x, right? And this is going to be 0.5 comma. Let's give this a center y, center underscore y, 0.5 also. So what this does is just gonna position it at the center of our custom layout, right? Custom float layout. So now that we've done this, we need to open our home.py, right? And make sure we have this root.avatar. Okay, let's scroll up. So here we don't have root.avatar, right? So let's create it. So here we're just gonna say avatar is equal to, let's say it's a string property. But we're gonna populate it using this get user ID function here. That so say here self dot avatar is equal to, for now let's put our empty quotes. I'm gonna minimize this and gonna open stuff.py. Where's this thing? Right. So we're gonna need this name and this part. So let's just take this part here. Navigate to home.py and let's create some space here. So let's paste it here, right? So here we're gonna need a session.user, right? Then now we're gonna replace this with this, but now we're gonna need our the ID of our user. So let's check session.json, and session.json has stuff ID, and stuff ID is set to true, right? So because we have Mark Johnson out there. So let's this needs to be true, like this. Save it. Okay, let's leave it like this. But let's put it this way, right? So if you have any errors, we're just gonna fix them. So here we have two. Navigate to home.kv, right? So this is going to be a string of what did we call it here? Stuff ID, right? So here we're gonna say, let's copy this one here. And paste it inside here. And this one is going to be stuff underscore ID, like this. Then we're gonna say avatar is equal to this name, like this. All right. So let's try and run it and see if this works. So here we have this, right? But we don't have an image being displayed here. Okay. I think I know why, right? So we don't have the image inside our inside this assets images folder, right? So here we have Mark Johnson. Okay, let's click this. So we have the image here, right? But why are we not getting it? Let's look at home.py, right? Okay. So here let's say name, right? And let's concatenate another string here. So here let's just say dot png like this. So let's run it again. We're still not getting an image. Let's see. Session.get stuff ID. Session.get user. E. Let's try printing this here. Oh, okay. We don't need to print it, right? Here, what we need to do, right? Let's open stuff.py, right? And let's copy this here. because the image and everything, the name of the image was correct, but we didn't have a path where to find it, right? So it was looking for it inside this main PMS template folder, right? So let's navigate back to home.py and let's paste this here just to start. Okay. Let's get rid of this. Excuse me. Then Control X this one, then paste it here. Excuse me. So now this should work. Okay, so we have our staff member here displayed, right? And if we click on the image is enlarged here, right? So let's close this. So to recap on what we did today, right? So we added this profile picture, right? And if you can press this profile picture, you can see the profile picture enlarged here, right? And then on projects, we're done adding, updating, and deleting our projects, right? But today we made sure that we added the functionality to add our images. And if you click on this, you can see the enlarged image, right? Then we worked on this search bar. So let's say you want to search website here, right? So you can search mobile, you can search, right? And we also worked on staff. So in staff, we can search our staff members. Like here we have Mark Johnson. We have let's try and search for Lucy, like that, right? So we can add, update, and delete our staff members, right? So in the next video, we're gonna work on these, right? So when you click on this, then you're gonna fetch the project that you created, right? And you're gonna see it displayed there. We're gonna see some tasks, some comments, some attachments, and whatnot. So we're gonna do that in the next video.